back with a brand new movie. It's time for a new episode of Film FLAM. So I get a message from a friend. He's like, hey, there's a small little indie horror film shot in our community. I've got a code for the screening. Are you in? Yeah, I'm in. So didn't watch anything for this film. No prerequisites, no idea who was involved. Just went to a small little screening, little room, set up a lot of family and friends there, and away we go. I'm going to break this review up into two parts. I think when you look at this film as a passion project by a bunch of youngins, there's gray in the beard. I could call them youngins. Inexperienced, first time doing a film or a major project like this. I think the director has some music video experience and what have you. And maybe there's some acting experience in there for some of these others. But on a grand scale, this is their first approach. Smaller film made in my hometown. So I've got to break this review up into two parts. We're going to review this based against its merits as an independent film, as a first film by a small group of friends and family. And then we're going to hold it against the standard of just a film period. You know, like if you're just watching this as any movie against any other film, I think it's important to do that. Because one, I'm going to have some bias. I mean, it's shot in my home. I'm that guy that's like, I want to cross that bridge. No, yeah, there's this bar in this film that no longer exists. So it's like a historical artifact now. And I think it's important to review it on those two sides, because you can't hold it entirely to one standard and be evaluating it properly, right? You have to hold it to both at the same time, but I'm going to split it up. So let's just talk a little bit about the plot here before we go any further. This is I guess if you break it down, and it's going to be tricky because a real part about this film, I'd recommend going in without any knowledge about it. And there is a lot of mystery and vagueness to it. So I don't want to incidentally spoil anything, accidentally spoil anything, however you want to look at it, take it either way. I'm going to find a lot of ways to say that in this review. Prepare yourself. I also don't script these reviews, so I mean, it's probably just going to get silly either way. This is essentially unrequited affection, unrequited love gone insane, like to the max, to the extreme. It's also, I guess you could say, a little bit of an examination of how grief can twist and mix somebody up, how not having the feelings that you have for somebody returned can twist and mix you up until everything in your immediate orbit is twisted and mixed up. And you don't know whether to take a left or right. I mean, you could go either way. Bam! And I think that's really all I can share without really spoiling too much. Okay, let's move into this film first as an independent feature, as a first feature from the director, co-writer Cameron Dubé. Unbelievable accomplishment. I watch a lot of no-budget cinema from all decades. If you don't, all you need to do is go to Amazon right now, type in the word like killer or massacre, and you'll get a bunch of no-budget slasher flicks that are shot on, I don't know, like cell phone cameras. There's some things you can really look for in that type of cinema, which might be bad acting, horrible sound, the lack of any and all direction. None of that is present here. There is a real passion that bleeds through the flames. My goodness. Bleeds through. There's a real passion that comes through where you can tell this is a group of friends that got together weekly, bi-weekly, picked away at one scene in one night, trying to get the most out of what they have. And the director, what he pulls off here, some of the lighting, the camera angles, shot transition. There's really cool effects with some different lighting used in different locales to kind of separate them. Like there's a lot going on here to be genuinely amazed by, and the acting is above par. Like if you hold this up against any independent film, it's really pretty impressive what they pulled off here. I mean, the list of credits is a handful of credits. People pitching in, I'm sure helping out where they could. You can just see the joy in the room when they're talking about their film, how much they're connected to it, and just in a way amazed they pulled this off, as they should be. You go into a room like this with a bunch of first-timers who are asking somebody for some money to put towards something, or, you know, begging for the use of a property for an extra hour because they did. Like, I'm sure all that happened here, and it really was cool. I mean, the sound is one thing you can really notice in a cheaper production. I didn't have anything like that hit me at all. I was just genuinely like, wow, like they pulled that off. This sounds really good. The lighting is another area, you know, day for night, that type of stuff that you can usually pick apart. Not here. This is a very, very good looking no budget production. And overall, a really, really, like an accomplishment that should be straight up applauded. I'm not going to applaud on camera that optic. Okay, once. So kudos to everybody involved with this. Some of the actors, I think it's Gabe McDonald and the lead actress, 1 minute, I got to verify this, Sarah Dubé, were both great. I've gushed. I've said this is a pretty impressive independent production. Now let's hold it to a film standard, a proper, top of the line, weird mind, crazy bending type movie. What do we got going on here? But let's talk about a couple of the critiques. One, the opening 20 minutes here is a little rough. There's actually a charm that Gabe McDonald brings to the character Melvin later on. And I've noticed this with a few actors. I don't know if they shot this film chronologically. I'm assuming not, but maybe. But there seems to be scenes, I feel like this is probably something that took a while to get shot over a long period of time. And it seems that you can accurately see where these non-actors were getting comfortable acting and letting themselves go. Whereas in other scenes, there's a real trepidation to the camera and kind of a stiffness to line delivery that just melts away later on in the film. The opening 20 minutes of the film is kind of a microcosm of that within the structure of the film. So for someone just tapping in, like say this film finds its way to streaming, and I think it deserves that. This is a film that easily blows away thousands of these cheapy, no-budget productions that get picked up by these companies. And I wish them all the luck with that. I hope they pursue it. I hope they find a home. But that opening 20 minutes is a real hard buy-in for the average viewer. Now, when you make it through that, and the film starts picking up its stride, and the actors are finding their flow, and this script starts hitting these clever strides that it tries to early on and just doesn't quite get to. I don't know if that was a matter of just as it evolved, they got a little bit more into the flow of what was happening. That opening 20 minutes, some of the comfort and the ease that the Melvin character has later on with line deliveries that got a lot of chuckles from the crowd and whatnot, that charm, that presence could have been worked into those opening scenes, I think, to give a comforting levity, something to connect you to the character off the hop that made the weirdness more than just, I don't want to say annoyingly vague, but like kind of frustratingly hard to connect to at the beginning. There's also a quote unquote narrative payoff towards the end where the characters keep saying either way or either way, however you want to say it, repeatedly in different ways, in different scenarios. And there's a forest kind of dream sequence that I think missed the opportunity to be the real reveal or the real kind of, hey, we're going to give you a proper sampling of what's happening here, like a real check this out, kind of understand some of these vague layers and twists and turns that the story has taken. It doesn't really pay off. Looks cool, and it was a nice idea. All of that said, I still think this is a very competently made, unbelievably high standard for what they had to work with, and the fact that they're first coming out of the gate swinging. And I cannot wait to see where they go from here. I think that as these projects get better, it's only going to evolve. This team, if they can find a way to put their heart and soul into another project, connect with some people that'll give them a little bit of oversight or what have you to help some of those rougher edges get smoothed out, I can see it happening here. They didn't miss the mark by much, which is unbelievable when you consider what they're working with. And the actors involved, like I said, when they really hit in their stride about that middle part on, there's some conversations and some interactions that really start to be like, wow, like they're pulling this off. I think if we review it on both sides as this independent, out of the gate first project from a bunch of just passionate about film people, this is a straight 8 out of 10. And as a straight film with some of the struggles at points with some of the script delivery and whatnot, I think it's a 6, which for an independent film is pretty par for the course. So I think if you split that, you're dealing with a solid 7 out of 10 film here, which, I mean, really, it sounds like something you come across all the time, 7. But I watch a lot of cinema, like a lot. If you watch this channel, I tear things up. I mean, I just suffered through the complete narrative mess that was the monkey. And when I see a film like this, I just couldn't help but be genuinely impressed and genuinely happy to have witnessed it, and happy that it came from my hometown. That's really cool. And I also feel it's important that when I review films that I talk about them honestly, and any critiques and things I'm sharing on here, man, it's all balanced out by just the accomplishment itself and how they pulled off something that is damn near impossible to do. It really is. The amount of films that get made every day, everywhere. Well, there's gazillions that never leave the imagination and never leave the page. So to rally your friends to go from what the director said was a D&D session to put down the wands, people. It's time to be actors. I mean, to rally those folks and to keep them on board, and for everybody to keep each other in check for the surely long process that this took. Kudos. Awesome. And I'm very much looking forward to round 2. Either way, you get a chance to check this out. Check it out. Everybody will leave just impressed with the accomplishment. For a film to leave you with that feeling, I mean, I've done that a lot with 80s cinema, with the VHS era, when anybody could pick up a camera and make a project, ship it to the shelves. And you see those films 30 years later that people still enjoy. And it's because there's a passion and a real desire to just bring an idea to life that gets lost sometimes in these big blockbusters, right? Where they're just trying to feed you more CGI and overpriced special popcorn holders, which I need to stop buying. Like and subscribe, and go check out Either Way if you get a chance.